The story of creation. In the very beginning, before time itself took shape, there was only stillness and possibility. The earth had not yet found its form, floating formless and deep in the vast expanse of space. Darkness wrapped around everything like a soft blanket, and the Spirit of God moved gently across the face of the waters, like a mother's tender touch upon her sleeping child. Into this peaceful darkness came the first whispered words of creation. "Let there be light," breathed God. And suddenly the universe bloomed with a warm, gentle radiance. It was not harsh or blinding, but rather like the first hints of dawn breaking over distant hills. God saw this light, how it danced and shimmered with possibility, and found it to be good. With loving care, God separated the light from the darkness, creating the first day and the first night, a gentle rhythm that would cradle all of creation. As the first evening settled into being, and the first morning rose to greet the new world, God turned attention to the waters that flowed everywhere. With infinite patience and wisdom, God began to separate these waters, lifting some high above to form the sky, while leaving others below. The space between became the air we breathe, the atmosphere that would one day hold clouds and stars, birds and weather. This vast blue expanse stretched out like a celestial sea above the waters below. The second day drew to a close with this new separation, this careful ordering of above and below. The waters above would become the source of rain and snow, while the waters below would gather into seas and oceans, rivers and streams. Each had its proper place, each its own purpose in the grand design that was slowly, peacefully taking shape. In these first moments of creation, we see the careful, intentional nature of God's work. Nothing was rushed. Nothing was forced. Each element was given time to settle into its new role. Each change allowed to ripple gently through the emerging world. It was a time of pure potential, of loving purpose, as the foundation for all that would follow was laid with exquisite care. As the third day dawned with gentle promise, God turned attention to the waters that still covered the earth below. With careful purpose, these waters began to gather and flow, drawing back like a soft tide to reveal the first dry land. Mountains rose slowly from the depths, their peaks reaching skyward with quiet majesty. Valleys formed like gentle cradles between the hills, and plains stretched out like welcoming arms. The newly formed earth lay bare and waiting, like a fresh canvas anticipating its first brushstroke. God spoke again with tender purpose, and the land began to stir with life. First came the tender grass, spreading like a soft green carpet across the soil. Then sprouted the herbs, each carrying seeds within themselves, a promise of continuous renewal. Finally, the trees began to grow, reaching upward with patient strength, their branches spreading wide to offer shelter and shade. Each plant was created with its own unique beauty and purpose, carrying within itself the seeds of future generations. The flowers bloomed with delicate colors, their petals unfurling like tiny miracles. Fruit trees bore their first sweet offerings, and grain began to wave in the gentle breeze. God saw how each growing thing complemented the others, creating a tapestry of life that was indeed very good. As the fourth day began to unfold, God turned attention to the vast expanse of sky above. Into this space, God set the great lights that would mark the passing of time and seasons. The sun was placed with careful precision, a golden lamp to warm and illuminate the day. Its light was gentle and nurturing, helping all growing things to flourish and thrive. The moon was set to rule the night, its soft silver glow providing gentle illumination for the sleeping world. Around it, God scattered countless stars, each one placed with loving care, like diamonds strewn across dark velvet. These lights would serve as signs and markers, helping to guide the rhythms of life on earth. They would mark the passing of seasons, the turning of months, the flowing of tides. Together, these celestial lights created a dance of illumination, a graceful pattern that would continue throughout time. Their movements would become a cosmic calendar, helping all living things to understand their place in the great cycle of seasons. The fourth day drew to a close with this beautiful array of lights twinkling peacefully in the heavens above. In this portion of creation, we see how God established patterns and cycles that would nurture and sustain life. The growing things of the earth would provide food and shelter, while the lights above would provide guidance and direction. Each element was carefully balanced with the others, creating a harmony that would echo through the ages. As the fifth day dawned, God turned loving attention to the waters below and the sky above, ready to fill them with the joy of moving life. The seas began to stir with gentle movement as fish of all kinds came into being. Tiny silver minnows darted through shallow waters, while great gentle whales glided through the deep. Schools of colorful fish moved like dancing ribbons through coral reefs, and playful dolphins leaped with joy in the waves. In the sky above, birds took wing for the first time. Their songs filled the air with sweet melody as they soared and glided on currents of wind. Graceful swans drifted on quiet lakes, Eagles soared with majestic dignity over mountain peaks, and tiny hummingbirds darted among the flowers like living jewels. Each creature was blessed with the ability to multiply and flourish, ensuring that their kind would continue through the ages. The waters teemed with life, from the smallest seahorse to the most magnificent creatures of the deep. In the air, birds of every size and color found their own special places in the world. Some would live near the waters, others in forests, and still others in open grasslands. Each one was perfect for its purpose, and God saw that this too was very good. As the sixth day began, God turned attention to the land itself. Now it was time for the earth to bring forth living creatures of every kind. First came the gentle animals that would graze on the abundant grass and herbs. Deer stepped delicately through forest glades. Rabbits hopped through meadows, and horses ran with flowing manes across open plains. Then came the smaller creatures that would help tend the earth. Busy bees began their important work among the flowers, while butterflies drifted on soft breezes. Every kind of creature found its place in the growing world. From the smallest mouse to the tallest giraffe, each one was given its own special qualities and purpose. But the crown of creation was yet to come. With deepest love and careful purpose, God began to form humankind. Unlike all other creatures, humans were made in God's own image, shaped with special care, and blessed with unique abilities. They were given the gift of stewardship over all other living things, not to dominate, but to care for and protect. These first humans were created to reflect divine love and creativity. They were blessed with the ability to think, to feel deeply, to create, and to care for one another and all of creation. They were given the task of tending the garden of earth, of being careful stewards of all the wonderful things that had been made. To these first humans, God gave every seed-bearing plant and fruit-bearing tree for food. To all the animals, God gave the green plants to eat. In this way, the world was created to exist in peaceful harmony, each creature and plant having what it needed to thrive and flourish. As the sixth day drew to a close, God looked upon all that had been created with deep contentment. From the smallest grain of sand to the mightiest mountain, from the tiniest seed to the tallest tree, from the gentlest dove to the most magnificent creature of the sea, everything was exactly as it should be. All of creation worked together in perfect harmony, each part supporting and complementing the others in a great dance of life. Then came the seventh day, a day unlike any other. Having completed the work of creation, God rested, blessing this day and making it holy. This divine rest was not from weariness, but rather a peaceful pause to take joy in all that had been made. It was a time of quiet celebration, of gentle appreciation for the beauty and wonder that now filled the universe. This seventh day became a pattern for all time, a reminder that rest is not just permitted but blessed. It teaches us that there is deep value in taking time to pause, to breathe deeply, and to appreciate the beauty that surrounds us. In our own lives, we too can find peace in following this rhythm of work and rest. As we reflect on this story of creation, we find profound truths that can guide us even now. We see that everything was created with purpose and intention, that nothing was rushed or forced. Each element of creation was given time to unfold in its own perfect way, reminding us that good things often develop slowly and need not be hurried. We learn too that we are part of something vastly larger than ourselves. Like stars in the great cosmic dance, we each have our own special place in the pattern of life. We are connected to every other living thing, bound together in a web of life that stretches from the smallest microbe to the largest whale. Perhaps most importantly, we are reminded that we have been given a sacred trust. As beings created in the divine image, we have the responsibility to care for this beautiful world and all its creatures. We are called to be gentle stewards, protecting and preserving the delicate balance of life that was established in those first days. We might imagine ourselves present at that first week of creation. We can picture the light spreading across the formless void, feel the first gentle breezes stir the air, hear the first bird's song echo across pristine skies. We can sense the deep peace that settled over creation as that first Sabbath began. We can rest in the knowledge that we too are part of this grand creation, loved and valued by the same divine presence that spoke the universe into being with such tender care.